Good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the East Bridgewater Planning Board for Monday evening, October 20th, 2025. For everyone's information, this meeting is being recorded. Tonight, we have our regular members, Diane Phillips, Rachel Tedesco, Dwayne Crosby, and myself, Kevin Riley, here present. A limited agenda tonight. We'll try to go through it as best we can here. We do have some minutes that are approvable. Those are, I believe, for the meeting of September 15th. Am I saying that right?
Yes, it's in our,
Yes, I want to make sure of the date. Yep,
It is September 15th.
So, unless there are questions or comments, changes that want to be made to those minutes, Chair would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from the September 15th meeting.
Motion made by Mr. Crosby to approve the minutes of September 15th and waive formal reading, accept them in the form presented. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mrs. Tedesco. Further discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, a unanimous vote of all members present and voting. Okay, a couple of Form A applications on the agenda for this evening. One is, the record will reflect that Mrs. McCrae is entering the room, our associate member. The couple of Form A applications, we do have one that was continued from a prior meeting. That's 425 Winter Street, and I believe Mr. Saras is here. How are you, sir?
Oh, hanging in there.
Good man. So, since our last meeting, there appears to be a couple of things. There's been a flagging of the wetlands done by Brooke Monroe, who's an environmental scientist with whom I'm familiar, just as someone who works in the real estate field. And she has submitted a memo that's dated, well, it's actually not dated, but it refers to a viewing that she did on October 17th, the end of last week. So I assume this must have come in probably today. It basically, talks about her site visit, talks about the characteristics of the lot, and does talk about the fact that there was some flagging done. Unfortunately, there is no map accompanying this that shows me where the flags are located, and to what extent the wetlands would infringe, as we were talking about last time, on the frontage. So it sounds like, from what she is writing here, that the actual wetlands area is limited, but again, without reference to a map, I don't think the board can make that determination. So, just for everybody's understanding, what needs to be, in order to approve this plan, there are a couple of criteria that need to be met. The first is, does the lot front on a public way? Yes, it does, obviously. Does it meet the minimum frontage requirements? Yes, it does, as presented. Can each lot access onto the way from the frontage shown on the plan? Questionable. Does the way that the lot fronts on provide adequate access? I would say it does, given the fact that this is assuming that there's availability of access through the frontage. There certainly is enough frontage there. And then, I guess, again, the question, does each lot have practical access from the way, that would be Winter Street, to the buildable portion of the lot? So that's where I think we're still kind of hung up here. I've looked at some of the case law, and I think you know, it's a very, very fact-sensitive determination. You know, I guess the question from a legal standpoint would be, is the frontage illusory? In other words, can you in fact access the buildable portion of the lot from Winter Street, you know, over what might be a wetlands area, if indeed it is? So the questions that I still have, you know, even based, you know, on this memo that we received, would be, you know, where exactly do these wetlands lie that have been flagged? And, you know, if it's minimal, then certainly, and then there's, you know, enough frontage that that's not a problem for access purposes, then I think, you know, the board is certainly inclined to sign the plan. On the other hand, to the extent that it's not, we need to know that, you know, there is some way, whether it be by reconfiguring the lines or by way of, you know, a feasible approach that Conservation Commission could approve. We just need to know that that's doable. And if that's the case, then again, I think we're inclined to sign the plan. At least I would be. I won't speak for anybody else. So, you know, I wish that, we didn't get anything other than this letter, Candy, is that correct?
Right.
The memo, we did not get a plan of any sort attached to it, okay. So,
Excuse me?
Was that through email today?
Yes.
I mean, have you received anything, Jeff, that you,
No.
no, you did not, okay. So, you know, I would assume that if this is if she just made the site visit on Friday, that may be still a work in progress, I don't know. But I guess my best thought would be to just move this to the next meeting for, you know, some final determination, and hopefully in that time, we can get the, you know, a copy of this plan, and then we'll be in position to take hopefully a positive action for you. That sound fair?
Yes, I just want to make sure I understood correctly. So you mentioned practical access. Is that like defined, so when I go back to them to explain what's needed? And it may be that he's working on that. I'm just a novice to this process, so I don't actually know how to articulate these things that you say so eloquently.
Thank you for the compliment. So, I think that,
I mean, it's an access point that we've used at the farm for 40 to 50 years. It was my aunt's property, it was a dairy farm, there's a gate there. We go in and out there because it's a maintained field that's hayed regularly and fertilized and so forth. So we do use that part, but from a definitional standpoint, if it constitutes as wetlands and where they lie, that's where I can't begin to give you insight there. Obviously, that would have to come elsewhere.
so, I mean, just in terms of, you know, practical access, you know, do you have a means to access this new lot? You know, let's, using another example, you have a lot that fronts on a street, which, you know, a portion is uplands in the back. To get to it, you have a severe, you know, valley or something like that. You would have to build a bridge over this valley to get there. Is that practically, you know, that sort of a thing? So again, I sort of analogize that to, you know, to what we're talking about here. So in the real world, if the wetlands and any buffer gives you enough to get in there, terrific. You know, problem solved. If in fact the wetlands is more extensive, then would there be a way, you know, again, a practical way to access the property, the back piece of the property, just considering the Winter Street frontage? So could you, as we talked about, I think last time, you know, adjust that lot line on your remaining land so that we'll, you know, provide some means of access? Or, you know, is it reasonable to presume that the Conservation Commission would or could grant you access over this area if it was wet.
I see. On the plans that you all need, in terms of what you'll be evaluating, how would we be able to demonstrate
So what,
that it has that practical access?
Right, so basically what Brooke has done here, you know, she's given us the information. All she would have to do is to overlay on the existing, or one of the existing plans, exactly where those flags are, so that, or Carl can do that from her report,
Okay.
so that, you know, we'll know that the limits of what's wet, quote unquote, and then, you know, that should be sufficient.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Sounds straightforward. We're getting to know each other.
As straightforward as can be.
Progress can be a slow process.
This is true, this is true.
Okay.
So, Chair would, based on that, and with assent of the applicant, Chair would entertain a motion to continue this matter until Monday, November 3rd at 7:05 PM.
I would
Motion.
recommend that we pass it to November 3rd.
November 3rd, motion by Mrs. Phillips. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mrs. Tedesco. Further discussion? Hearing none. And Jeff, with your assent, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. We will continue or motion is to continue the matter until 11/3 at 7:05 PM. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Unanimous vote of all members present and voting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, y'all. Have a good day.
All righty.
Okay.
Next matter up there is another Form A plan for properties at 536 to 578 Harvard Street. Come on up.
Good evening. My name's Jack Reardon. I am a property owner. At one point in time, I owned all four of the lots. I purchased them from Richard Rosen. I believe he's the one who got an original plan approved that was recorded in 2019. When I went to, I'm a builder, so when I went to the building department to start seeking permits to build on them, or the first couple anyway, that I had purchased, it was determined by John Delano that, well, he didn't agree with the wetland delineation that had been done previously.
Pesky wetlands.
Yeah, so I hired a botanist to get the property redelineated. The net effect of that work was the engineer determined he needed to alter lot lines in order to maintain all four lots as being buildable. So a subsequent plan was recorded in 2019. I don't know if any of you were.
2021, I think, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, yes, the original was 2019.
2 years later, yeah.
Subsequent one was 2021. Unfortunately, when I started deeding out a couple of the houses that I completed, the references in the deed referred to the original 2019 plan. So I sold those, and as you can tell from the application, there were multiple people who signed the application. I still own two of the lots with houses under construction. I sold two houses. So essentially, four owners had to sign the application. I signed for two because I still own them, and then the other parties I had sold to signed the application for this new plan. And essentially, all this new plan does is it shows the original lot lines for the 2019 plan, the new lot lines for the 2021 plan, and it shows effectively how those lots were changed. There's no difference to the zoning, everything's compliant, all the lots were buildable. I've obtained building permits on all of them based on that 2021 plan. My problem is now that it was determined, there was this defect determined in the title, I can't sell the last two until I get this new plan approved. Unfortunately, I'm not a lawyer, so that's the best explanation
Oh, it's very good.
I can give to you.
So guys, just for your sense, you can see from the plan, you can see some dash lines, running north to south, if you will. Those made for 4 original, essentially rectangular lots, a little bit off. Those were the original lots in 2019. You then had an adjustment done as is being indicated in 2021, and this plan reflects that, so that now you have 4 parcels that look something like the state of Alabama, each. And basically what would be wanting to happen is there would be deeds between the various owners of the lots conveying these different parcels back and forth so as to adjust the actual ownerships to represent or to be consistent with the 2021 plan. So the only thing that I see here that's lacking would be just the typical language on the plan, which basically says that the parcels shown on the plan are not buildable in and of themselves. So that note should be added to the plan. And I would also, it might be helpful just to, there is a note, the purpose of the plan is to dimension and define the parcels A through F as shown here on. And we might expand out a little bit just to reflect why that's being done, just for clarity's sake. But apart from that, I think that the plan is approvable. And, any questions from you guys? Does that all make sense?
No questions.
No questions? Rachel, yeah?
The only thing is, so the solid lines are the revised
Solid
plans.
lines are the 2021 plan,
Okay.
yes. So basically, if you look, for example, at the Lot 1, leftmost, what would be happening there is they would be conveying the rear triangular piece that's designated parcel A.
Yeah,
They would convey that to Lot 2, and in return, Lot 2 would convey the sort of the long, narrow strip between the dash line and the true
Parcel-
lot line.
parcel B.
B,
Yeah, I get that.
to Lot 1, so
Okay.
that everything will then be, and likewise, moving down the block, everything would work out.
okay.
So again, I think with those notations, the plan is signable, and Chair would entertain a motion so to sign with the revised plan when it's made available to the office.
I move that we approve the revised plan. when it
Motion is made by
available.
Mrs. Tedesco to authorize the signing of the plan for 536 to 578 Harvard Street, with the caveat that a new Mylar be submitted with the notations as I've noted. Further discussion on that? No discussion, okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed. Unanimous vote of all those members present and voting. So if you will just have the engineer, throw those notations onto the plan, resubmit to the office, we can get it signed right away. Either the chairman, myself, or the vice chairman can sign it, and you'll be all set. You won't have to wait until the next meeting if the engineer can do it. Thank you. Nice to see you, thank you. Okay, next, we do have just under other Whitmarsh Lane Extension. The applicant there has requested that the town accept the roadway. So that is a process that runs partially through the planning board, partially through the select board. They have submitted some information relative to the as-built plans, relative to the state of title to the properties, such that the board can initiate the process. Once we're satisfied that everything from a planning perspective is in order, the matter can then go to the select board, who can place it on the, vote on it and place it on the agenda for final approval at the spring town meeting. So that's ultimately where it would land, but certainly we can get the process going, and that would be the intention at this point. having received correspondence from counsel for the applicant, which is dated September 3rd. So we will get that process underway. There was a request from the office to close, or to consider the closure of some additional special engineering accounts, as was done at the last meeting. I believe we closed 2 or 3 where projects had been completed. There are 5 on this list, and Candy, are we in position where we know that all of the other departments are, conservation, so forth, there's nothing pending, there's no outstanding monies and such?
Yes, yes.
So, the list is 5. It's account E204, which is Knights Estates, 209, E209, which is 798R North Bedford Street, E213, which is 318 and 358 West Union Street, E217, which is 211 High Street, and Highland Street, and E222, which is CLM Development, 369 West Street. So, at this point, I would entertain a motion for the closure, that the board pass along to the town treasurer indication that we have voted to allow closure of accounts E204, 213, and 222. And that any funds in those accounts be released to the applicants. Is there a second to that motion? Or is there a maker of that motion, I should say?
I'd like to make a motion for the board to pass to the town treasurer the closure of these accounts so the funds can be released back to these people.
Okay, so there is a motion made. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. McRae. So I've, in that motion, I had suggested we not consider at this point 209 and 217, which is the warehouse development.
Okay.
Reason being, I'm not quite certain at this point that everything, there are, I know, in the front piece, the Peyton piece, if you will, I know that there are things that have not been done that were approved by this board. There's landscaping that needs to be done. I believe there's still street lining, signage, and so forth that needs to be done. And I'm not sure whether either of these accounts that relate to the warehouse bear any of the responsibility for that. So we'll investigate that, and we can certainly take that up at the next meeting. But that's why I would suggest that we not include those at this point, just to make sure that that work gets done. And I'm quite certain as of today, it has not been done, so.
So shall we say that we'll amend?
And the motion.
No, the motion was,
It's okay.
again, I took it that the motion was only for 204, 213, and 222.
Okay.
Okay? So, if that's the case, then if there's, further discussion or questions? Okay. All right, so that's the motion. It's been seconded. Further discussion, none. All those in favor so signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Unanimous vote of all members present and voting for closure or authorization of closure of 204, 213, and 222. Okay. Last item tonight is Layla Estates and the street lighting. It's something that we're following. There was an update from Mr. Macy, which essentially what's happened is there was some question about one of the way that one of the forms from National Grid was completed by the town and submitted, having to do with the matter of later on ownership of the streetlights and poles. So it appears that the form needs to be redone as far as having it signed and the correct choices made on the form, so that, it can be, you know, in the end, you know, the town will be in the right place as far as ownership and such. So, that's the update there. I think that is something that's being worked on, and I think, you know, to this point, Mr. Macy has been faithful in following through and responding to communications from the office, so, it is a process. National Grid is by no means quick, some may know. So, I'm satisfied that, you know, the process is moving along as it should, and that would be the update there. So, questions? Anything else to come before the board? Otherwise, we'll let you, go home and do
Nope.
whatever.
That's good.
Casey, motion.
Make a motion to,
Crosby.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thinking of a guy I was on the phone with today. Sorry about that. That's okay. Okay, Mr. Crosby makes the motion to adjourn. Second to
I'll
the motion?
second that.
Let's go. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you and good night.